Hey everyone, welcome to another Teach Time topic video. This one we're going to be talking about what does it mean to be a Panorama Cougar. So we've broken this down into three different things. The first one we're going to talk about is the champion of students. All right, so get my handy dandy pen ready. Boom. So what does this mean? A lot of this is going to be self-explanatory, but we are their biggest fans. We support them in any endeavors, positive endeavors. Now, what could that be? Obviously, that could be a couple things, but one thing to me that's important is after school activities. So, clubs, sports, anything that they take interest in. I just like people who are really passionate about things and I really admire them, and that includes our students. So, if they're really passionate about something and it's positive and healthy, I am their biggest fan on that. So, I definitely want to let them know that I support them. And one of those ways is just be present. And I'm going to talk about this in my next video. Be present at their things after school because they notice, and sometimes their parents or guardians aren't able to come, and that does have an effect on them. So when they see their favorite teacher or just a teacher or a staff member at their games and cheering them on, that does huge not only for the student but for you as well. It's really healthy for you and it helps with your classroom management because those students now trust you more. And the big thing for our students is they want to know that you're bought in. So if you're bought in, they're going to respect you a lot more. We encourage them in academics. Every student has different levels, and it's always important we are encouraging them. We want them to be challenged, but in a healthy way. We don't want them to be overwhelmed. So find that balance, that dichotomy between challenging them to the point where they break down, to the point where the material is too easy. So it's a hard thing to do, but the important part is that you go in with that mindset and that you're going to do your best in order to let them grow. So that's champion of students. All right, let's move on to our next category here. Professional collaborators. It's a little better. There we go. So playing around with this stuff. I guess they link together. So I am breaking this down even better. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. So I messed it up. My fault. See, I'm learning as I go. So let's move over here to professional collaborators. And this is more of that professionalism piece that, and you'll be evaluated on this, so this is always good to talk about. So what does it mean to be a professional collaborator? Well, there's different stakeholders you got to work with. We all have a stake. Sorry about that. We all have a stake in our students' future. So there will be teachers, obviously, coaches, staff members, district, families, community members, or leaders, etc. So anybody who has a direct stake in the child's future, well, you need to be able to collaborate with. So with teachers, you want to be able to work with cross-curricular teachers, people who don't teach your content, because there's a lot of things that can relate. So for example, when I was a social studies teacher, I like to work with the science teacher because there's a lot of good things in science that can relate to um, social studies. So for example, we did a unit in world history on the Chinese dynasties. And the science teacher and I worked together at the time to create some sort of project-based learning uh, activity together, and they would be doing different things in the two classes, but they would eventually link them together. So they learn the history aspect in mine, and then they learn the science behind some like major Chinese inventions in science class. Coaches, they can be your biggest allies if you need help. Coaches have a deeper relationship with the students at times. They see them in a different light. So they can also hold the child accountable as well because they want to make sure that their students are eligible to play, but they also want to make sure that they are putting academics first. Staff members, so anybody in our building, you need to be able to collaborate with because they are going to help you. So front office, custodial staff, whoever that may be, even the cafeteria staff, you know, you want to be on the same page as all of them, or at least try to work with them. District, obviously, so you have a plethora of resources at the district, but it's really your best resources are other teachers, in my opinion. So if you can talk with other teachers during your vertical PLCs, whether that be online now or if we go back to in person. Families are always huge, obviously. So getting in contact with parents, guardians, siblings, even sometimes, the more connections you make, the better. Community members and leaders, they can help you do certain projects you want to do, or maybe start a club. And really, these all make a huge difference in a child's life. So if we're all working together and we're all saying a similar message, it's going to be really beneficial to the student. And finally, we have emotionally empathetic to all. So this one is basically just talking about building up our students and staff. Be positive. It's very easy to be negative, okay? I know. It's hard, but you can do it. So that positive messaging is going to make a huge impact. It's easy to sit around the water cooler and complain and say things are tough and you're complaining about other things, but that just doesn't do well for you and it doesn't do well for the people that are around you. So be as positive as you can on a daily basis and a consistent basis. Finally, the big thing here is do no harm. Okay, it takes about 10,000 positive reactions to eliminate one negative one. So imagine that with your students. And I know all of you are great people, so you don't mean it, but at the same time, we have to be aware of what we say. And I am guilty of this just as everybody else. So when whatever comes out, we have to be aware of that, and we want to make sure it's positive. It is easier to create a strong child than to repair a broken adult. Okay, so compare it to work you do around the house. It's easy to do demolition. Sometimes it's even like kind of fun, but it's going to be harder to fix it and build it back up. So I like to play with Legos as a kid. My son's getting into those big blocks now, and it takes more time for us to build up a little tower than it takes for him to destroy it. And I always relate that to working with people. So whenever you interact with someone, be aware of that. And as soon as it's like once you start to get it, you start to catch yourself a little bit, and it really makes you feel better too. The more positive I am, the better I feel. So that is what it takes to be a Panorama Cougar for this year. And you could add a lot to these things, of course. You probably already have a lot of ideas that I didn't even address, but for time's sake, we're going to leave it there. But if we do these three things, our students are going to be stronger, more confident, and they're going to be better off in the long run. Thanks for again for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye.